Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today I'm very excited to be taking an early look at the Mythic Legions Legionscon 2023 exclusive Vorgus Vermillius, the Blood Armor 2.0, brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, as well as Legion's shop, which is where I managed to snag this fine fella right here. And what a fine fella he is. Just look at this absolutely glorious looking figure right here. Just a spoiler alert, probably one of the figures of the year, without a doubt, in my mind. A little bit of a Smash Mouth reference for you all there, but you know, early 2000s pop punk references aside, I'm more of a metal guy after all. What am I doing? This figure is gorgeous. I love this thing. Vorgus Vermillius was one of the figures that got me into the Legions line early on, along with Brother Mandibulith and company. So, you know, this one holds a special place in my heart because it's not one I felt that we needed a 2.0 of, but in terms of the story that Mythic Legions has going for it, it makes a whole heck of a lot of sense why we have a 2.0 version of this guy. Because for those of you who don't know, the Blood Armor is not necessarily a character, it's literally a suit of armor. A magical suit of armor created by the demons Azar and Zaza, the yellow and blue demons I've looked at on this channel, as well as the original Vorgus Vermillius, by the way. But the whole story behind this suit of armor is it drains the life force of the user, which explains why it comes with the exclusive head that it does. This translucent head right here, which if you were paying attention to the thumbnail, you saw that I used. And it'll come back for final thoughts, but I will tell you, I did have to heat this to pop it on. But for those of you who bought the All-Stars 5 Plus head pack, you already have this head in white, so you could easily throw this on him as well. But I do like the translucent red head. It looks a lot more evil and definitely showcases the wearer being consumed by the armor. That said, this armor right here, this version of Vorgus Vermillius, is being worn by the captain of the Vampire Phalanx, who we took a look at a little while ago, around the same time as Legionscon, actually. I think a couple days before, right? I took a look at that Vampire Phalanx Legion builder, and this guy comes with the same head as that figure, with the crazy curly Q horns, which aren't very tight in here. I'm not very pleased with the ports on the helmets as of late. They seem kind of loose. The Shadow Orc was one. Even the Vampire Phalanx and the Gorgo Aetherblade 2.0 were a little loose. Now, I'm sure somebody will be all, you could put something in there, and I don't do that, alright? I want my figures to be ready to rock out the box. That's kind of how it should be, especially when you pay $75 for it. But I'm not going to be using this head. I'm either going to be using the helmeted head or the Screaming Mimi Vampire head, the white one, most likely. Because while the translucent red one is cool, you lose some of the details. But on top of that, he does come with a few other accessories, like this sword here. It's pretty rad. We've seen this with a couple of the vampires already, but it's nice to see it again here. The blood-soaked color scheme that Vorgus is known for, as well as this axe. Again, we've seen this with other vampire characters, and also a lot of elves. Same with the sword here, so it's nice to see they upgraded the weapons as well as the figure. And then last but not least, we get a new spear. Now, I don't know if this handle is reused, but this spear tip is definitely new. And this is some Vlad the Impaler shiznit going on here, because this looks like he's straight up gonna shove it up someone's keister and out their mouth. That said, if I can find the point where this comes off. Pops off like so. This is a keyed port, by the way, and a keyed peg. It's got flat edges to it, so while you can pop this thing off, you cannot turn it once it's attached. It is a fixed piece. So if you want to just shove the blade up someone's pie hole, then you can pop it off and use it as a blade. But once you got it on the spear, the spear handle, I should say, post, whatever you want to call it, you're pretty much stuck with it in one position. You can't turn it to take it off. So I do not recommend twisting that. You could break it. Although the peg is very very thick this time around. It's not thin like we're used to seeing. Like the Monkey King staff, it had some thin pegs going for it, as well as the well, I actually can't remember the Attila 2.0 hammer that well, because I don't have it handy, but I don't recall that one having a very thick peg. I guess the shield pegs would be a good example. Those are relatively thin, and you could break those easily. This, I'm not too sure about that. It feels pretty solid to me. So, bringing Vorgus in here for a closer look. Here he is alongside his 1.0 counterpart. And I mean, you can just see the frickin', like, it's no comparison. I will say, this one's joints, for being an old dog, this is the All-Stars, is it 2? All-Stars 2 version. It's still pretty tight. Same with Brother Mandibulith, the mascot of the channel here. This guy has a couple of loose points, but not anything I'm willing to contact customer service about, or whomever I would contact about that. I mean, I did buy it from Legion shop, but the Four Horsemen themselves did ship it, so I'm not entirely sure what to do there, but I'm not going to waste my time. I'm still waiting at this point, as of the time I'm recording this, for some help with a couple of the Cosmic Legions figures I got from the last wave. I had some loose points, so yeah, I'm not gonna go through that rigmarole for a limited exclusive that they probably don't have a lot of extra parts for, especially if, you know, someone needs like this leg, because they got 2 of this leg. Then I'd rather they have that than I get something a little tighter. And really, it's a little stank, but it's not bad. He's not falling over. There's plenty of friction in there, but still, it shouldn't be loose out the box. I'm not into that, but I don't know. Maybe I can fix that. I'll give it a try, but as far as articulation on this guy goes, it's the standard Legion's fare. He's got the ball joint in the head. It rotates. You can rotate the horns up if you want. They go up like so. That's a cool look for him, but I don't know. I always saw this guy with his horns down when I pre-ordered that initial 1.0 version, so that's kind of the way I like to have them. But the other way looks cool too. And something to note, this guy does share some parts with Gorgo Aetherblade 2.0. He's got the new helmet, the new collar piece, the new pauldrons, the new chest plate. Yes, this is the chest plate torso that we first saw with Alithia. I don't know if the side skirts are new, but this cod piece is new. But the arms and the gauntlets, the legs and the boots and the feet and hands, those are all like 1.0, like first Kickstarter, first wave parts. So we've seen all that before. That said, his shoulders can go out, but they are very tight on mine. So, you know, I'm not going to push it as far as it can go, but there you go. Push it out that far. Back down. They do rotate forward and back. He does have single elbows with rotation. Swivel at the gauntlet with a swivel at the wrist, as well as a hinge. I just feel like this one on mine has some flashing. It does. I'm going to have to chip that off. That's no big deal. That's a X-Acto knife fix there. He's got a ball joint in the waist. Seems to give you a little bit more range than normal. Like you could tilt back pretty far. You could tilt forward pretty far, all things considered. So that's nice. It does rotate, and it's not loose. It's just got a lot of range, so that's nice. Hips, kick forward and back. Very tight in the hips. I'll give him that. He's very tight in the hips. They do kick out. They kick back down. He's got a thigh cut. He's got a single joint at the knee with rotation beneath that. Then in the feet, he has a rotation as well as a hinge and a rocker with peg holes at the bottom of the feet. Should be worth noting the pauldrons do kind of move up and down a little bit, as long as the horns aren't in the way. There you go. But they don't move a lot. They're very bulky, but they look freaking sick, so I don't care. That said, this cape here is some crazy Spawn level shiznit as far as the aesthetic goes. It's wild. It's got bendy wire going throughout all of it, so you can actually pose it worth a darn. I don't know if you can get it to sit up because the wire is relatively thin, we'll say. It's not like the thickest wire ever, so I guess moving forward, if I was the Horsemen and the fine folks at Legionscon, I would maybe, I'm so excited I can't pronounce words. I would maybe make the wire twice as thick, because it is inside of a cape. I don't think a lot of people are going to care if it's thicker. I think people just want to pose these things up, make them look awesome on their shelves, so I don't think a thicker wire is a bad idea. I wouldn't go crazy like they did with Decibalis and make it thick as a brick, like freaking Jethro Tull or anything, but, you know, just maybe a little bit thicker on that wire. That would be a good idea, but, you know, what the heck do I know? I'm just a schmuck reviewing action figures that's excited to get one of these Legionscon exclusives for myself, because last year I reviewed my old man's freaking Unknown one, and that thing was sick. I think this is a little bit better, just because it's got a lot more new going on. The Unknown one was no slouch. That made my top figures of the year. I want to say it was around number 6. This guy probably going to make, like, top 5, hands down. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, to quote Smash Mouth again, that this guy is going to be one of the top dogs of the year. He is, again, one of my favorite characters in Legions. Always liked the 1.0 version. I did a review of that way back when I first started this second channel, because, again, I lost the first one because some schmuck thought they'd be smart and hacked it. But that's a story for another day. But Vorgus Vermillius has been with this channel almost as long as the infamous brother Mandibulith, so kind of holds a special place in my heart. So to be able to get this new and improved 2.0 version is freaking awesome. So with that being said, I'm not going to cut the comparisons. We're just going to cut right to the chase, since they're in every video and it wouldn't make sense to do this one without them. Here's Brother Mandibulus, one of my other all-time favorite Mythic Legions figures. Obviously, he's in every freaking video. He is my profile picture, and he's in the intro, as well as this guy. Well, this guy used to be in the intro, not so much anymore. I think it's the Kickstarter one that's in my intro, but here is 11th Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone because he's freaking 11th Spawn, but I don't know. He doesn't hold a candle to Vorgus here. Vorgus has got a cooler cape. Vorgus is just cooler looking, in my opinion. You know, he's got the spikes on the shoulders. He's got the horns. I think Vorgus could square off against Spawn any day of the week. And in a way, he is kind of like the Spawn of the Mythic Legions universe, because the necroplasm suit that Al Simmons wears kind of feeds off his life force too, doesn't it? Am I not mistaken? That's kind of what's going on with him there. So, yeah, man. Love this figure. Very stoked to get him early. But you don't have to overpay on eBay for this guy if you didn't get him early like I did. He will be up on Store Horsemen, I think, sometime next year. Fingers crossed it's after income tax season when people actually have money to be buying crap like this. So, that said, you'll probably pay way less too. It'll probably be like a $37, maybe a $50 figure. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, before I rant and rave about this amazing figure anymore, it's time to wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure what else I could possibly say about a good old Vorgus Vermillius, the Blood Armor 2.0 here, that hasn't already been said by other members of the Mythic Legions community or other YouTube toy reviewers, other than the fact that this thing is freaking fantastic and absolutely flippin' amazing in every sense of the word. And I'm 110% confident, without a single trace of doubt in my mind, there's a Smash Mouth reference for you, that this figure will not only crack my top 10 favorite action figures of the year, but quite possibly my top 5 favorite action figures of the year. So if you haven't picked this guy up, don't fret, don't overpay on eBay. You'll have a chance at that next year. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, catch you guys later.